Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
Did we do this on Mondays or just Saturdays?
Saturdays, I believe we did Grapevine and Summer Winds on Saturdays, and Mondays, wasn't it always 76 trombones?
No, we did. It was the summer. At Memorial Day, Summer Wind hit to Labor Day.
But just on Saturday.
Just on Saturdays.
Monday night, we always did 76 trombones,
correct.
did we not? And
yes.
we, for all those asking, yes, you will hear 76 trombones tomorrow.
Say, I have some sports notes.
Good.
This is from offsite frequent contributor Dave Downing.
Okay.
If this opening pitcher thing catches on, no one is going to want the role because they'll have no leverage at contract time. Their won-loss records will be terrible.
Yeah. Well,
think about it. A starting pitcher cannot get the win unless he goes 5 innings, but he can get the loss as long as his team is behind when he leaves the game. The opener could pitch 4 innings, give up only 1 run, and still get the loss.
Yes.
But no way can he ever get the win.
No, he can never get the win.
Contrast that with the way stats work for the highly paid closers. They can enter a game with a 3-run lead, give up 2 runs in 1 inning, and get credited with a save as though they did something great.
And people are suggesting they might have to make an adjustment. Well, they can't make an adjustment because we've had that rule in place since, the early 1900s, for God's sake.
Second sports item.
Yes.
Play-by-play man, Tiger broadcasters are getting in fights with each other.
Really?
Yeah.
Jim Price and is Jim Price one of them on
Ron
radio?
Allen and Mario Impemba.
Okay, that's on TV, I believe.
Okay, the reason for the attack remains unclear, but tension had been building between the two who have been calling Tigers games since 2002.
So they're arguing on the air with each other? They're not throwing punches, are they? What they are?
Yeah, it came to blows.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it came to blows.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
not on the air. It was away from the broadcast.
Really?
booth.
But we don't know why, huh?
They got into a physical altercation following Tuesday's game.
Wow.
It became clear that something was off when Matt Shepard and Kirk Gibson were in the broadcast booth Wednesday night for the series finale in Chicago with no announcement on Impemba and Allen's whereabouts. Shepard and Gibson reportedly had to be called in last minute while Impemba and Allen were booked on separate trips back to Detroit to avoid another fight.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
my
something.
final item.
Is it about Seattle?
I don't know.
No, what's your final item?
Oh, the NHL is now going to require players to stop doing keg stands in the Stanley Cup.
What do you mean?
Well, Ovechkin would fill the cup with beer, and then he'd have somebody hold him up. He'd put his head in the cup.
Well, how can they prevent it?
Well,
I mean, is there going to be some guy, security official, when Ovechkin decides to do a keg stand to prevent him from doing it?
It's considered that the league has officially asked players to not do that.
They've asked them.
Right.
Okay,
I don't know that they're
asked
going to follow that. But,
it was hilarious, by the way. And
the Ovechkin one?
Yes.
It's been seen 806,000 times.
Yes, that's what the NHL needs. Get rid of something that draws attention to us. We don't like that. That's pretty good.
Are they worried about reverence for the cup, or are they worried about the promotion of alcohol, I wonder?
Well, I think, I don't know. They're probably, who knows? Why? There hasn't been a hockey player in the history of mankind whose favorite beverage wasn't beer. So let him go for it. Let him go for it. Seattle, I brought up Seattle because 2 days ago we had the out-and-out fight in the clubhouse after a game.
Yeah.
Well, we're not exactly sure. The catcher was involved, Mike Zunino, and a couple of Hispanic guys were involved. And D. Gordon, who's one of their veteran players, kindly asked all the reporters to leave the clubhouse when they first came in. And about 2 minutes later, they came out the door like one of those
Barroom brawls
in a Western movie, you know, in a cowboy movie. They came flying out, and afterwards, they were. I don't know if anybody's been able to identify exactly who the participants were and how widespread it was with the team, but I haven't heard of one of those in a while where they actually were throwing haymakers, I guess.
No, but it's happened.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it happened. That 162 games. Think of how often it happened back in the day when they weren't making any money.
Yeah.
You know, and...
Say, we might both lose our bets on Sano.
What?
Sounds like they'll play this weekend.
Yeah, but don't
I'm not going to.
Don't lose hope.
I'm not going to count on
Don't lose hope.
No.
He's last year he was imminently going to return, and they ended up having to give him surgery. But he could play this weekend. We got to talk about Burt
Reynolds.
He was a good-looking man. Wouldn't you say, Kenny? He was a good-looking man.
Boy, was he.
He was a good-looking man. Yep.
You know, we were saying off the air.
That's what they thought in Deliverance, too.
apparently the marriage with Lonnie Anderson was tempestuous.
Yes, it was.
But I bet the makeups were wonderful.
Oh yes, it was fantastic. They could have. They never produced one of their own.
They adopted a child.
That could have been a good-looking child. Mm-hmm. The best movie he ever was in, though. Boogie Nights. He should have been He should have won an Academy Award.
He got the nomination, right? But he didn't get the award.
As the sleazeball pornographer with a kind of a low-key sleazeball pornographer. He was fantastic.
He really was.
He was great. And it kind of was a little comeback for him because he hadn't done much since.
But that's a movie that if you went to it and you left the theater, you wanted to make sure no one else saw you. I saw a St. Paul judge leaving the theater, and the judge and I know each other, and neither of us wanted to acknowledge each other.
Well, I thought it was great until they, the end. The punchline at the end was
that thing
distressing.
Distressing.
It was
a crane.
It was frightening.
Hate to see that thing angry.
It was frightening. But I thought it was a great movie. Without just the look at the porn industry was fantastic.
But for pure joy, Burt Reynolds versus Jackie Gleason in that first Dumb Bandit movie, which I still love so much, was just pure joy.
Okay.
I'm gonna barbecue you.
Be back to Boogie Nights. Beyond Burt Reynolds, who was your favorite character?
The guy that shot his wife because she couldn't stop.
Bill Macy's wife was my favorite character.
Yeah.
When they're at the party and he goes out to see what the entertainment is, and it's the missus.
And this was after this happening over and over and over again. And finally, what was Bill Macy, the sound guy or something like that?
Yeah, he always wanted to be in one, but I don't think he had a proper
Imagine his surprise.
Characteristic.
Yeah, he was just sick of the same surprise over and over again. And finally, he just,
And she did. She wasn't. The problem was she was never apologetic.
No. It was a cuckold situation.
Just like, get the hell out of here.
I don't remember that. I don't remember the movie that well.
Oh, well.
Boogie Nights. Yeah, Boogie Nights was the one. My favorite character was the Asian guy that was doing the firecrackers.
Don't recall that.
Wasn't Philip Seymour Hoffman one of the fluffers?
They
were
going to
get the drugs. They were going to take the guy that was selling the drugs, and he had that front, Sister Christian Overtime, and the guy was walking around the house lighting firecrackers, and they were sitting on the couch all nervous, and that made him even...
that was, when they went to buy the drugs.
When they went to go get the drugs. Was that part of the movie based on John Holmes? Because didn't that actually happen to John Holmes? He was involved in some shady drug deal.
Yeah.
Joe, you're big on documentaries. What, did you get the John Holmes documentary?
I get that one.
The guy who played the crazy man in that scene, the Hispanic guy. He was fantastic.
Oh my gosh,
that's a good movie. I gotta go watch it again. I don't think the wife will watch it with me though. She never has yet.
I have not. I've seen Deliverance maybe twice, and I can't do it.
It's a hard movie.
It's
I'll tell you though.
Who wrote that, Pat? Who wrote that?
I'm not sure, but there's
James
never
Dickey.
Does
that ring a bell?
There's never been a better theme song for a movie than Deliverance. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. So, Bert, We hadn't heard much from Bart. He must have been sick for quite a while.
Tiger just concluded his round, shot 62 today.
That's good.
He's 8 under and tied for the lead. He's in the clubhouse. Rory's
got
still on
about
the course.
5 holes. They are tearing up these courses that they're playing the playoffs on are pretty easy. Tiger will lead by 2 going into Sunday and get beat.
You were right, Such.
James Dickey?
Yeah, very good, sir.
Really?
Very
Wow.
sick. Yeah.
That was a hell of a novel.
Hell of a novel. And it looks like...
It was a hell of a movie.
Yeah. I can still see the kid on the bridge playing the banjo.
Oh, in the tree.
Yeah.
Sitting on a tree branch.
Gave me a little...
that evil grin.
Gave me the willies.
Poor Ned Beatty, he had the worst role in the movie.
Oh, he had
That almost killed his career.
He had a bad role.
He had a bad part.
Yes, he did.
Like the Gimp.
Yeah, almost as bad as the Gimp.
Almost
Not
as
as
bad.
bad as the Gimp.
Oh,
The Gimp had the worst part.
The Gimp was into it.
You gotta fess up, your girl. You gotta fess up.
I'll tell you who else was pretty good in Boogie Nights. Roller Girl was she was very good.
Who was
Heather
that?
Graham.
Yeah, Heather Graham.
Fantastic.
I don't know
what
what
a performance.
I don't know what kind of broads you guys married, but today
Listen to this.
at 3:14 today during that last commercial break, I get a text from my bride. Happy anniversary! And I write, oopsies. And then I respond again, right back at you, baby. And then she responds, just got a message from my mom wishing us a happy anniversary. That's how I remembered.
Oh, are you off the hook?
Match made in heaven.
That is, boy, how do you find a girl like that?
She goes, we're so bad. And then I responded, we, period, are, period, awesome. And then I wrote back one more time, any idea how long? And she says 24 years. So happy anniversary to
you, way to go.
to my bride.
The only thing that
let's
would have made that better is if you two were sitting at home watching something at like 8 o'clock at night,
Did you
and then you got
have
that
the
text.
reception in a Legion Club, or didn't you have
No,
one?
we ran off. We
Okay,
ran off.
okay.
There was the judge, and our 2 witnesses were
Okay.
the front desk person and the cook at the resort that we were staying at.
What state?
Cascade Lodge, North Shore. It's just short of...
So you'd gotten a license a few days
So
earlier.
now that you know it's the anniversary,
Yeah.
what do you got planned? You have a nice weekend?
Warmest personal regards.
What do
He's
you mean?
working on some brakes in the garage tonight.
What do you mean by planned?
You got to take her out for a nice dinner.
I don't.
Are you going up to the farm this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can invite her along, right?
I'm going up for about 4 months. That's her present from me. I'm disappearing.
That's a pretty good one.
That I just find that's a you can leave it running, baby.
Yeah.
That's a you can leave it running, baby.
That's great.
She's pretty cool about that stuff.
Yes,
No Twins game today.
that's good.
Yep.
Well, you can leave that running, baby.
Yeah.
That Odorizzi is like having a colonoscopy at watching him pitch.
Ow.
It hurts. It
mean
does
without
hurt.
No.
Without the sedative.
I was just going to say, at least you get pain pills with the colonoscopy.
I said last night, watching Odorizzi pitch or having a wisdom tooth removed, which one you got?
Take the tooth.
And the first guy said, "Do I get it? Anesthetic." You can't watch it. It's just he gets the ball back and
Is he a nibbler?
I don't know what the hell he is. He contemplates his pitches for 20. He's thinking each time like, all I got's this high fastball. What else? Should I try to throw something else? It's brutal. Mm-hmm. He's not their worst, but he's their worst to watch.
Boys, are you excited about the NFL opening tonight?
Do what now?
It is?
I'll watch a few minutes of it.
That's
Sure.
it.
I'm not going to lock myself in on it.
Are you ready for some
Philadelphia
football?
at Atlanta? Is it Philadelphia
At Atlanta.
No, in Philly.
It is in Philly?
It's in Philly. Atlanta at Philadelphia.
You would think they'd
And-
let the champs be at home.
2 of the teams that we hate from the last 20 years, the Falcons and, of course, in Philadelphia.
Now, I have a bone
the
to
2
pick.
times we were sure we were going to the Super Bowl, these were the teams that beat us.
Now, your newspaper today, Mr. Royce, picked the Falcons to beat the Vikings in the NFC Championship game. How much of a hand did you play in that?
They did not talk to me.
Oh, dang
They
it.
did
I was
not
going to give
talk
you
to
credit
me.
for the...
But somebody, was it Craig? Did the wise old owl do it?
I should look. Who
If
did
it was
do
the wise old owl, he was probably agitating.
It was Mark Craig's
he's
prediction.
an agitator.
Good.
He's an agitator. He probably was doing that just to have fun with people.
Is Fresno State another team that Gopher should beat?
No, they're pretty good. Well, they should beat them, but they're only 2-point favorites. Fresno State they changed coaches. They used to have a really good tradition. Then they kind of went in the tank, and they brought Jeff Tedford in, who was a former Cal coach, very successful there, got fired. Kicked around a little bit, and last year they had a real good year. I think they were 10-2 or something last year.
Fresno State. That's where that pig teaches.
I know. I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
This
Crazy
teacher they got that's nuts and ripped Barbara Bush when she died and all this stuff.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
I would say she didn't rip her. She went after her very distant.
I found a game where I'm dedicated to a Gopher victory.
I got a new. That's a night game, by the way.
I don't care. I'll cheer on.
I got a new conservative hero though from Twitter last night. I told you, Bill Kristol.
Yeah.
The Trump sends out. You wonder if the fake New York Times even has a administrative official? So Kristol, who even though he's conservative hates Trump. He was one of the never Trump guys. Mm-hmm. And he says, he or she does exist. I just got off the phone with he or she, and he or she is looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at the White House.
Which would drive him crazy.
Oh, you got to know his head exploded. Right. Agitator. I like it. You can't beat agitation on Twitter. So,
well, as a long-standing newspaper guy, I hope you're not comfortable with what the New York Times did. I think it's not a good plan. Not a good plan. And plus, you didn't learn anything you didn't already know.
But this is a completely different world that everybody's living in right now with this guy.
Yeah.
It's a completely different world. He has decided to declare war, so throw a little back at him.
But just to lend credibility to it by outing yourself.
Print your name,
and you're going to get fired.
Well, that's what you'd have to accept. Yeah. Print your name and get fired.
Yeah, but it's so much fun to see him go crazy.
Yeah, but it didn't take that to get him to. He'll go crazy if a truck drives by.
With a Hillary sticker on the back. Yeah.
Doesn't take much.
Oh, it is. It's open warfare now, though. There's no doubt about it. That's for sure. He's right about one thing. He's been the greatest thing ever happened to the New York Times. It's no longer the failing New York Times.
Well, he's been
I mean, they're making more money than they've ever made.
Your guy, Carl, is on the line, and we can wait for Frank Miller.
Carl?
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Carl.
I wanted to tell you I went golfing with my son and my grandson the other day.
Okay.
And Clubhouse asked us if we'd be willing to let a young lady join our foursome, and we said, sure. Well, by the end of the round, she told us, she said, this is the best round of golf she's ever had. And by the time she gets to the 18th hole, she says, it's a long putt. She says, now, whichever one of you help me sink this putt, I'll have sex with you. Uh-huh. And so, geez, I said, wow. And my grandson said, well, the grass breaks a little hard to the right. Yeah. And then my son told her that, you got to put some oomph behind it because it's just tight course. And I walked over and picked up the ball and said, it's a gimme.
Way to go, Grandpa.
I heard it before, Carl, but that was pretty good.
See you later, kids.
Well, Carl, it's nice of you to call.
Well, I wanted to get one last one in here before you're all dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, keep calling us. Maybe you can call the podcast sometime, Carl.
Oh, sure. That way there, I can get even more X-rated. I like that.
Okay.
Dirty old man.
Yeah. Thank you, Carl.
Well, that's all I've got left these days.
Yeah. You gave her the putt, huh, Carl?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Carl.
Toodaloo.
Uh-huh. All right.
Gimme.
Toodaloo.
Pick it up. That's good.
Yeah, you still got it.
We'll be back shortly, but now thanks to our good friends in Owatonna, Minnesota, at Federated Insurance, where it's their business to protect your business, and nobody does that better than Federated. It's Bruce Vail. I'm sorry, it's Frank Miller, and Your Money Now.
Well, the markets closed mixed, the Dow posting a modest gain, the S&P a modest loss, the NASDAQ down again for another day as weakness in the tech sector weighed the index down nearly 1%. Traders appear to be expressing a bit of concern that the tech sector's recent strength may have been a bit overdone. Traders also taking in some jobs data today as payroll processor ADP said that private sector employment rose a bit less than expected last month. However, the ADP Research Institute's vice president said the job market, quote, remains incredibly dynamic. Elsewhere, the Labor Department reported that weekly jobless claims dropped to their lowest levels since 1969. Investors now await the Labor Department's monthly jobs report, which is set for release tomorrow. And the Justice Department is reportedly taking legal action against a North Korean man who's being accused of perpetrating the 2014 cyber attack against Sony Pictures Entertainment. The FBI says it's looking for Park Jin-hyuk, who's accused of leaking sensitive emails and financial documents from the studio. In a statement, the FBI says the complaint is the result of a multi-year investigation, and it's one of the most comprehensive filings to date. I'm Frank Miller with Your Money Now on 1500 ESPN. Here's Kenny Soulman Olson.
Thank you very much, Frank. The only thing I really have to say right now is GL has a brand new podcast account on Twitter, and it is at GL Podcast. And how many followers are we up to right now?
Well, we just announced.
Click over.
Close to 400.
387 followers, and I'm hoping we're going to get to at least 800 before the hour is out. At GL Podcast on the Twitter. We also have a website, don't we?
We do. For that one, it's garagelogic.com. If you are not familiar with podcasts, go to garagelogic.com, familiarize yourself, and you'll be all set for Monday's broadcast. Garagelogic.com.
Tigers 8 under and Rory's 9 under. They're ripping up this little golf course outside of Philadelphia.
There's Johnny Heidt.
Thank you, Joe. It's sunny. We're up to 74 degrees now. The Twins are off today. They kick off 3-game series against the Royals tomorrow night at Target Field. The Yankees
Anticipation is thick.
The Yankees come in for 3 after that. The Vikings have won a bidding war to get tight end Cole Hikutini on their practice squad.
Who dat?
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, apparently, here's the deal. The Vikings signed Hikutini on Monday to a deal.
Japanese?
No, he's not.
I don't know.
He's
Italian.
The deal's worth $20,000. That's more than triple the practice squad minimum of $7,600. Part of the reason, apparently, he was waived Saturday by the 49ers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
they went and stole him from the 49ers, huh?
Yeah, and the source said the 49ers wanted Hikutini on their practice squad, but they wouldn't pay him more than $15,000 a week.
Okay.
The Vikings giving him $20,000.
Way to go. And now he can give them all the 49ers secrets before the game, right?
Yeah,
$20,000 a week? That's almost as good as podcasting.
Great investment.
That's very, very funny, Mr. Olson. Very funny.
Yes.
Ray from St. Louis Park. Ray, why would the Vikings spend that kind of money just to get the guy here for one game?
Well, of course, the object is to win.
Yes.
So as you, as a bookie that I once knew would say, you will not make money as an investment if they lose.
That's right.
So you put the money up front, and you hope for the best.
Okay.
He is apparently somewhat well regarded, so he'll probably stick around, I would assume.
Okay, not just a 1 week, give us all, bring your playbook with you type of thing.
Correct, yeah. News notes from today.
Vikes win easy Sunday, by the way.
Okay.
Don't you have to leave your playbook behind when you get released?
Yes.
That was a joke.
That is your
I guess
pocket,
I didn't get it.
I'm
sorry, Ray.
That was a knee slap.
That is your pocketbook.
That was a belly jiggler.
Yeah, that's right.
The Coon Rapids Police Department investigating possible embezzlement involving the booster club for the high school hockey teams. Reports that the president of the Cardinal Hockey Red Line Club told police numerous unauthorized purchases and withdrawals have been made from the club's financial accounts. According to the report, during May 2018, there were a total of 31 unauthorized purchases totaling over $2,600.
Wow.
During June 2018, a total of 31 unauthorized purchases, totaling more than $3,000.
Are we pointing a finger at anybody there, Johnny?
Not yet. It just says the Coon Rapids police are looking into the matter.
I don't think Coon Rapids is much to write home about in hockey either. Maybe because they've been underfunded.
New York Attorney General Barbara Underwood has subpoenaed all 8 Roman Catholic dioceses in the state of New York as part of her office's investigation into the church's handling of sex abuse allegations. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation but not authorized to speak publicly told the Associated Press the subpoenas went out this morning. They seek documents relating to sexual abuse allegations, financial payments to possible victims, or the findings from internal church investigations.
None of your business, you old bat. If they've been paid off, that's fine. If they haven't been, then okay.
Paul McCartney in a talkative mood with Howard Stern on his show yesterday.
Stern's still on?
He's on Sirius XM.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
McCartney, who of course found himself on opposite sides from John Lennon and Yoko Ono after the breakup of the Beatles, said it was John who actually decided the group was breaking up. He said there was a meeting where John came in and said, "I'm leaving the group." And looking back on it, he'd reached that stage in his life, and actually we all had. He also acknowledged that Ono was a good choice for John Lennon. He said, even though we thought she was intrusive because she used to sit in on sessions, we'd never done anything like that. But looking back at it, you think the guy was totally in love with her, and you just got to respect that. So we did, and I do. He also talked about he was offered, remember Romeo and Juliet when Franco Zeffirelli did it in, 1968 or so?
Vaguely.
They wanted him to be Romeo.
Yes, he was offered the part of Romeo by Zeffirelli. He said it was flattering, but he didn't think he was right for the part at the time.
John, have you watched the year-old Clapton documentary?
I have, yes.
Boy, he was I didn't realize he was a sick son of a gun.
That sounds really tedious.
His infatuation with George Harrison's wife was a little bit over the top, to say the least.
It was.
And then once he got her, he didn't want her, right? Basically.
Well, they didn't get along after a while.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Well, I don't think it got to the Burt Reynolds, Lonnie Anderson point.
Oh, but she basically said he was a nuts. But
Is that the only friend's wife that he coveted? Wasn't there another?
He was quite a womanizer. Let's put it that way.
But with his buddies' wives, right?
Well, I don't know any other stories like that. But I know the Harrison one definitely. But he said when he started playing guitar, one of his goals was, to sleep with every woman that he could. So that was
he liked his booze there for a few years. The way it looked.
Booze, drugs. He was. Yeah.
He went from, didn't he go from heroin to alcohol?
That's correct. Yes.
People like me are aware of their genius, so-called, at 10, 8, 9. I always thought why has nobody discovered me? In school, can they see that I'm cleverer than anybody in this school? That the teachers are stupid too? I used to say to my auntie, "You've thrown my poetry out, and you'll regret it when I'm famous." And she threw the bastard stuff out. I never forgave her for not treating me like a genius or whatever I was when I was a child.
Thanks, Jim.
I was different. I was always different. Why didn't anybody notice me? God. It comes out that people like me have to say it themselves,
Can somebody end this?
He's insufferable.
I just had 5 more seconds.
Yeah, well,
What about the fans?
wasn't that entertaining?
Bastards. They're just sucking us to death. That's all we can do is do it like circus animals. I resent being an artist.
That's enough.
That's John Lennon, of course.
He's a pain in the ass.
I think I'm going to play more, Patrick.
Well, you go ahead.
Did I ever tell you
Nothing I
guys?
can do about it now.
Did I ever tell you guys when one
I
time?
could go and try to get you fired, but what the hell?
Royce, one time I'm in New York and I'm strolling through Central Park and I come across this section of park called Strawberry Fields and I look over and I go, "Oh, well, that's the Dakota right there." Yeah. So I walk over there and I go right in front of the gates and I flop down on the ground and start yelling, "I've been shot! I've been shot!"
What's wrong with you?
Nobody thought that was funny.
That wasn't
at all.
a very high class thing.
Did you get arrested?
Nobody thought it was funny.
I would like to tell you one more thing about this McCartney interview because it's amusing.
Good, because I got one more quote.
It's amusing. I think you guys will all like this. He talked about a recent encounter he had with Jack Nicholson. He said he was at a party. The actor came to a party, sat next to his niece, McCartney's niece. And as he sat down, he announced himself by saying, this is Jack now, "Big balls coming in."
That's good. That's good.
McCartney told Stern he thought that was a very good opening line.
That's awesome.
That's one of my favorite locker room stories of all time. The Philadelphia Eagles and Reggie White was their star lineman. And Reggie was very religious.
Yeah.
Extremely religious.
Yeah.
And he's got the group around him. And the guy next to him was Jerome Brown, who was the crazy defensive lineman from Miami who ended up getting killed in a car accident when he was, 25 or so? But the media's all around him, and he comes out of the locker room. He's got the towel over it. It says, "Out of the way, swinging, coming through." Whoa! And the gals, everybody running for cover, man. Swinging.
Yikes!
Police in central Mexico say they caught a man who made off with a hearse that still had a corpse inside.
Uh-oh.
Were they shooting pheasants? Were they hunting pheasants?
The Tlaquepaque Police Department said on its Facebook page the hearse had been ready to take the body of an 80-year-old man from the hospital in Guadalajara to the funeral home. Police say a 40-year-old man admitted seeing the keys left in the vehicle and decided to take it for a joyride. Mm-hmm. Officers were alerted, and soon they spotted the hearse along a highway, detained the suspect, whose name was only given as Anibal. Police said Saturday he was turned over to prosecutors. Both the hearse and body recovered.
Not Anibal Sanchez.
Not Anibal Sanchez.
John, do you have more?
I do.
All right.
Continue now this week with stuff from the folder.
Oh, good.
No, John, it's radio. We're spinning the hits.
Spinning the hits. A Jonesboro, Arkansas woman was arrested on DWI charges after police say she slammed into a mobile home, then tried to leave the scene of the accident in a child's battery-operated truck.
Was it the Jeep 4x4 or the...
Was it the Gator?
Are we in the Hall of Fame folder?
We are.
The
yes.
pink Jeep?
Yes. 29-year-old, Jamie Kraft is also charged with public intoxication, refusal to submit, disorderly conduct, leaving the scene of an accident with property damage, and driving while license canceled, suspended, or revoked. This all happened on a Sunday afternoon at 5:30. Officers called to 4303 Aggie Road. According to witnesses, Kraft was traveling at a high rate of speed in a 2001 Pontiac Grand Am. She rounded a corner and hit the under panel of a man's trailer. Another witness told police that Kraft, who was dressed in a white sweatshirt with no pants or shoes on, began yelling at him. According to the police report, she grabbed the man's daughter, then jumped onto his son's Power Wheels truck and tried to get away.
You know, the neighbor kid's got one of those big gator type things.
Sure.
Those things fly.
No, we got one. They don't fly. But
Really?
They go pretty good for a little kid.
You got to take the governor off, Such.
I've got it. There's that crank.
That's your date of birth.
Do you have a phone number?
Man told police he grabbed his kids and took them to his parents' house. Police came and arrested Kraft. Another drinking incident involving a young lady. This one happened in Florida. A 31-year-old man rushed to the roadway from his home after hearing a crash, found his Ford pickup and another vehicle had been hit by a driver in a Volkswagen. The man sensed the driver might be impaired and tried removing the keys from her ignition. The deputy that responded to the crash wrote in his report that the woman, 32-year-old Kristen Lively, couldn't find her driver's license and told him that she was, quote, headed home after being at home and would pay for everything. When the deputy asked if she was impaired, Lively allegedly said, no, but if you think I am, I'll go along with you.
Okay.
She then admitted to drinking a six-pack of Budweiser.
Okay.
After fumbling to open her car door, Lively managed to pull herself out, but as soon as she stood up out of her car, her camouflage shorts fell down to her ankles.
Oops, I hate when that happens.
Your swimsuit area plopped out.
Deputies
Plop. Oh. I don't have enough to plop.
Deputies' report said she then pulled up her shorts and after several attempts didn't seem to realize she had to tie the drawstrings on the shorts.
They went to the ground again.
That's like the video we had of the guy trying to put his pants on as his shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The deputy wrote in his report that she kept trying to use one end of the drawstring as a button. Kept to button it. The deputy then helped the woman tie her shorts as she was
probably had to get her. Now there's nothing going on here, honey. I'm just tying this thing.
Wow.
as the deputy
Was that English?
As the deputy checked her eyes with a lighted pen, Lively told the deputy that sometimes her eyes go slushy.
Sure they do.
Slushy.
At one point, Lively stopped the field test and allegedly told the deputy, I'm all messed up from the prescriptions. It messes you all up. Lively also stated she starts probation in a week. Isn't that good enough?
I'm already signed up.
She said she was taking meds to destroy C. diff, which she said was an unknown stomach bug that only she knew about.
Oh, okay. All right.
Lively continued to talk to her arresting deputy, reportedly telling him she had just been busted on a drunk and disorderly on Memorial Day. During a search of the car, the deputies found some pot, a glass pipe, an open bottle of Early Times Fire Eater Hot Cinnamon Whiskey.
What in the world?
This is definitely no-go
You
zone.
know that was in the clearance cart. You know, right when you come
with
in.
the giant orange sticker.
$2.95
I hope we
bin.
got her 30 days in a fine treatment center before this was all over.
During her ride to the
Mom meets Cindy.
During her ride to the jail, the deputy said Lively became, even worse, told the deputy things like, you cops are all dirty, and my brain has been executed 3 times.
What?
She blew a .169 at the breathalyzer once she got to the jail. Yep. She said she'd been drinking vodka and Bud Light, but when the deputy mentioned the bottle of Early Times Hot Eater Cinnamon Whiskey, she said, okay, I guess that's probably what I was drinking.
Sounds like Augie's girlfriend, the one that he brought into the Legion Club one night barefoot and with a big sweatshirt said private property on each of the breasts, and anyway, he's left with her and they were impaired. And a week later, there's a picture of a woman marrying an inmate, and it's Augie's girlfriend. In the St. Cloud Times. That
That didn't last long.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
They were impaired.
Now, was she barefoot because it was a hot summer day?
I don't know.
Just feels good on my
There was
feet.
some things that occurred before they showed up.
I see.
I don't know where they met.
Private property.
It was love at first belch, I guess.
In keeping with our drinking theme, this happened in Janesville, Wisconsin. A school teacher was drunk while supervising students on a field trip. The report says the teacher, 50-year-old Maria Kaya, was taken to Mercy Hospital by her husband after passing out on a field trip to a bowling alley. Kaya is a 4th grade teacher at Washington Elementary School.
Uh-oh.
Blood alcohol at noon, 0.27.
Oh,
She told
record setting.
told hospital staff she had been drinking since 6 a.m. because she had to go out to supervise the field trip.
Why a field trip to a bowling alley?
Yeah, kind of like a
Go
reward.
to a farm or something, or a Janesville. You go to an assembly line.
Might have been a fan of the Lebowski, you know.
I think the kids learned something at the bowling alley that day.
In the report, school district officials said Kaya was one of 9 district employees on the field trip, along with several parents. The report says it initially appeared none of the other chaperones were aware of Kaya's situation. Police said they plan to contact all the other chaperones and question them. No criminal charges filed against her. The police report was sent to district officials and Child Protective Services.
There's another person that doesn't know you're on the air till 4 o'clock.
Uh-oh. Phone's ringing.
Or maybe they
ding
thought they
there.
were a week early.
Little ding.
I shut her down.
Chris, that was really funny.
Thanks,
Yeah,
John.
it was.
The Texas woman was so desperate to visit her boyfriend in jail,
How desperate was she?
she stole a $3.99 bottle of wine to get herself arrested and tossed in the clink.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's love.
Alice Wallachy stole a bottle of Mad Dog 2020
The good stuff.
from the local Shell station. I can't believe it's up to $3.99 a bottle.
I mean, when you're
Funny.
talking bad wine, that's top shelf.
Yep. A 22-year-old told responding officers she wanted to get busted, taken to the Williamson County Jail. She advised her boyfriend was arrested earlier that evening by Cedar Park officers. It was her fault, so she wanted to make things right and go to jail to be with him.
But you're not, are you? You don't get locked up with your boyfriend.
I would think not.
She might not have been thinking clearly.
I guess you're right.
As they used to say, what's the word? Thunderbird.
Yeah.
What's the price? 50 twice.
Yeah.
Nice jug of Thunderbird wine.
Our family always screwed that up. What's the word? Thunderbird. What's the price? 55. That's why it wasn't funny.
Here's a guy who saw a sign in Wisconsin at a gas station, 3.2 beer in Wisconsin. Hell, our water is 3.5. All right, John. I still haven't heard my favorite from the Hall
I
of
think
Fame.
that should be the last story.
All right,
I do.
that's it.
Yeah,
All right.
last story.
All right. Well, as the old ride winds down.
The ride's winding down. You know what we're having today at 5 o'clock with Matthew Collar?
Pizza party.
Our last annual NFL preview, Vikings preview. It's the last annual. Most everybody advertises the 12th annual or the first. They even say first annual. This is the last annual. And beyond that, we're going to probably a little more of an ode to Burt Reynolds and all. Beyond that, I don't know what the heck we're going to do.
General topics of the day.
General topics of the general. For goodness sakes.
Yeah.
General's topics of the day.
Furman Bisher.
Yes, right.
What are you writing about, Furman? Well, for God's sakes. General topics of the day.
Yes, right. What a beauty. He could do it well. Great writer.
Don't forget about the new Twitter account at GL Podcast to learn more, or garagelogic.com.
1500 ESPN is KSTP, St. Paul, Minneapolis, 7.